Hello, welcome to my channel WWE Pulse.
In T-Series, we look at some of the most important, influential, and interesting aspects of professional wrestling. And today we're going to be looking at the Gimmick. What is the gimmick? The word gimmick is defined as a trick or device used to attract attention. Typically one with a novel or unusual appeal. In wrestling, it's often referred to as a character, persona, or persona theme. Gimmicks can be anything from an undertaker to a tax collector, like Telate, great, but usually they fall into familiar tropes such as face, the good guy versus heel, the bad guy.
Excellent.
These gimmicks can also be very broad, like the evil foreigner, like many of the heels of the 80s and 90s, or more specific, like an evil dwarf, like the late Great Lord. But whatever the gimmick, a great one will help a superstar stand out from the crowd and make them memorable. Some of the most unforgettable, larger-than-life characters in wrestling history are defined by their gimmicks. Think about it. Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, John Cena, Triple H, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Goldberg, Sting, The Road Warriors, Ricky Steamboat, Jerry Lawler, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Bruno Sammartino, Gorgeous George, Buddy Rogers, Luthesh, Jack Briscoe, Roddy Piper, the Von Erichs, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Jericho, Edge, Mick Foley, Kane, Dean Ambrose, The Shield, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, Big Show, Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, and so many more. You see how important the gimmick is? There are different kinds of gimmicks. You have the typical good guy, the anti-hero, and the bad guy. Sometimes there are subcategories such as the reluctant hero, the noble savage, the femme fatale, or the tragic villain. Then you have gimmick based around an occupation like the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Don David Schultz, or the aforementioned Nikolai Volkov. Then you have gimmicks based around places like Doink the Clown, who was from the swamp, or Yokozuna, who was from Japan. Or you have gimmicks that are based around a group of people like the Three Stooges or the Bush. There's even gimmicks based around animals like Mankind, who is supposed to be a wild man, like a wild animal. And sometimes wrestlers even base their entire gimmick around a single object, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan S2x4. Oh. And then there's the gimmicks like the Ultimate Warrior, which were based around nothing but the wrestler's appearance. One of the things I love about wrestling is how much freedom there is when it comes to choosing your gimmick. It's pretty easy to come up with a simple face or heel character, but you can also go all out and create something completely unique. And if you want to, you can even base your gimmick around yourself. That's what I did when I was wrestling. I chose to base my gimmick around myself, playing up the whole being from England thing. My ring name was even my real name. All I had to do was put a British accent on it. I mean, I could have chosen a different kind of gimmick, but I thought, why bother creating something completely new when I can just play up the fact I am from England? It's already quirky. It's already interesting. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do is show up and be me. When it comes to the creation of a gimmick, it's best to try and think outside of the box. Try not to create something that's too similar to other wrestlers' gimmicks. Try to come up with something that makes you stand out. And don't limit yourself. If you feel like your character would benefit from having a catchphrase, theme song, or entrance attire, then go for Italiano. And it's also important that you're comfortable with your gimmick because you're going to be embodying it for quite a long time. You may change it up a little bit every now and again, but it's going to be part of who you are in wrestling for years. So, if you're not comfortable with it, then it's probably not a good idea. The worst thing you can do is copy someone else's gimmick. Now, there are instances where wrestlers have somewhat similar gimmicks, but for the most part, they're pretty different. Take the Ultimate Warrior and the recently retired Tatanka, for example. They both went around in face paint, and that's about where the similarities end. Tatanka was a Native American warrior, and the Ultimate Warrior was a primal being. Sure, they both went through enhancement talent, but the way they wrestled was totally different. Also, Tatanka's gimmick was more of a traditional phase, and the Warrior was more of an anti-hero. And I've seen some absolutely bizarre copycat attempts at gimmicks throughout my life. When I was wrestling in England, I knew a wrestler who tried to copy me. He even wore a very similar outfit and tried to do the same type of... Now, he eventually found his own style and became very successful. His name is now Martin Steve. If you're watching wrestling now, you'll notice that there are very few gimmicks. Wrestling has become a lot more sports-oriented, and therefore wrestlers are now more athletes than performers. It's still important to have a gimmick, though, because if you're just a generic athlete-type character, you're not really going to stand out. Your gimmick doesn't need to be over the top, but it should be memorable, and it should help you to stand out. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre is a great example of this. He doesn't have an over-the-top gimmick, but he's got a Scottish accent and plays up the whole Scottish heritage thing. That's enough to make him stand out, and it's a big part of his character. A great gimmick can make or break a wrestler. Without a great gimmick, you're just another wrestler in the ring. With a great gimmick, you're someone the audience will never forget. Here are some examples of wrestlers with gimmicks that helped them to become successful. Let's take current AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. Omega could have just been another high-flying Japanese wrestler, but he created a gimmick that made him stand out from the rest. He portrayed a cocky, arrogant heel who thought he was better than everyone else, and the crowd ate it up. After a while, though, he dropped the heel persona and became This helped him to connect with the crowd on a more personal level. And he became even more popular than he was as a heel. Then there's CM Punk, arguably one of the greatest WWE wrestlers of the past decade. Punk was just another enhancement talent when he first arrived in WWE. He wasn't taken seriously and the fans didn't care about him, but he changed everything when he cut his famous pipe bomb promo in 2011. This promo was off the cuff, and it was so good that WWE had no choice but to push him. He became a top guy immediately, and he stayed there for years. Another example is Becky Lynch, who was just another member of the WWE Women's Division when she first arrived. She wasn't taken seriously, and the fans didn't care about her. But she changed everything when she turned heel in 2018. She became the man, and the fans loved it. She became one of the biggest stars in WWE. And then there's The Fiend, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was a mid-carder when he first arrived in WWE. He wasn't taken seriously and the fans didn't really care about him. But he changed everything when he debuted the Fiend character in 2018. This character was unlike anything we had ever seen before, and it immediately made Wyatt a top guy. As you can see, a great gimmick can make or break a wrestler. Now I want to ask you a question. What is the best gimmick of all time? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.